Hello and welcome to Lorehammer, a 40k podcast. Tonight we're doing something special. We got another 40k RPG. This one is called Stone and Steel. And after doing some Votann stuff, I've really wanted to mess around with some Votann lore and just go on a crazy Votann adventure. I was kind of picturing when these boys presented this opportunity to me, I was like, yeah, I kind of picture Rogue Trader, but with dwarves and other races, and it will just kind of allow this fun little thing. So let's introduce our players. We're start with Dark Melon. Welcome.
Greetings.
Yeah, you hyped or what?
Oh, I'm very excited. So this will be my first ever RPG.
Nice, yeah. We also have Icarus joining us. Welcome. You got a nice little character made for yourself?
Yep.
Okay. We also got Jax joining us. How about you? Are you hyped? Have you done RPGs before?
I've done a Pathfinder RPG, but that's pretty much my whole knowledge.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm super hyped.
Nice. And our final player is going to be Veltroid. Welcome.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, man.
Glad to be here.
For sure. This is going to be rowdy, I think. I wrote this story prompt for us. This is episode 0, so there's going to be some character creation stuff in here. There's going to be some talking about rules, but there's also going to be a little bit of flavor and story at the end after we kind of get some stuff sorted out. So this was the original story prompt I wrote for these guys, and then we'll start talking some details about the RPG. In the grim darkness of the far future, aboard an ancient mining vessel, Ironfather's Resolve, a squat captain stands on the cusp of destiny. Deep in the uncharted reaches of space where only the bold and the foolish dare to venture, the League of Votann prepares for a mission like no other. The captain, grizzled and battle-worn, seeks a new crew, adventures with courage, skill, and ambition to drive into the unknown. He promises riches beyond imagination, but whispers of strange xenos threats and lost imperial relics haunt the corridors. Do you have what it takes to join this perilous journey, or will the void consume you whole? How do you guys feel about a Votann? Like, do you guys know much about them?
I love Votann so much. I actually starting an army about them.
Nice.
All I know is that they're the new squats, you know. They're the space dwarfs.
Rock and stone.
Rock and stone, my digger!
When I first heard about the Votann, I thought, oh my god, the squats are back. I'm going to see the Colossus again. What we got in the end wasn't the Colossus, but I'm still very happy that we got it. And I do have their codex. Unfortunately, it is in German.
Plot twist.
I spent the last week and a half just reading up on them, trying to figure out what I want to be, streamlining my character.
Nice, yeah. So let's talk about what an RPG is. It's a role-playing game, and basically there are players and I'm acting as the game master, and we're going to tell a collaborative story together. So you guys are playing as characters, and I kind of play as the NPCs. I'll describe the environments for you and all that kind of stuff, set the stage. There's different ways to play RPGs, so this is a good question to take on all you guys, just so I can get a direction on the future of how we want to really go. There are different ways to play. I personally love doing narrative RPGs. Some people love doing combat-heavy RPGs. Some people like doing rules-heavy RPGs. Do you like mystery and like that kind of vibe, or do you like an even balance? Like if I don't throw combat at you guys in one session, will you be bummed out? Like, what's the vibe of the group?
To explore the unknown.
Yeah, if I could bring up something, I'd say balance. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like, probably like narrative, like telling a complete story would actually be like really fun and like interactive. So yeah, I'd say like more so balance, like combat to like spice things up here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I'm not speaking for the whole group, and I might just have a dog shit opinion, but maybe like we don't need like combat like every session.
Mm-hmm. Good feedback. What does everyone else think? Icarus?
It's more of a combat is there to for me. It's more of like the switch between a new part of the story. You know, that's for me what combat is.
Okay, yeah, good to know.
As a major event in the story, and then you have the combat session, move on.
Sure.
I'm in for whatever you guys are in for.
And Belt?
I just want to steal stuff from all your characters, add it to myself. You know,
A looting RPG, perfect.
yeah, exactly. I'm just in it, you know, just be like, oh, you need me to fix your armor. Hey, I got this. Oh, get that element. I take it and I put it on myself. And it's...
That voice that's a good voice. I like it. Yeah, so
we'll get used to it. That's a plan.
yeah, so it sounds like we're going to try to run a very kind of balanced, you know, none of you guys want to be crunching numbers and looking in rule books. And on that note, for the rule set that we did decide to play with, it's called Simple D6. And maybe I'm just going to read the one page of rules here, just so the listeners can kind of get a vibe for how the flow of the game all works in that. Simple D6, or SD6, is a super light, free-form role-playing system which can be used for all settings and is written for people who hate explaining advanced systems or just love simplicity in their games. It can be summarized by taking one dice from each skill, which would help in the given situation, and add one. Then roll them and take the highest result, and you're done. Very simple. Character creation. To make a character, find a concept, a profession, for instance, and a name you like. Start with 1 quality, 5 skills, 5 hit points, and 1 defense in all aspects. You may give up 1 skill to get either +2 hits in a single aspect or +1 defense in a single aspect per skill you gave up. Aspects. Aspects are different areas of interaction, and relevant aspects will change from game to game. Common aspects are common, social, magic, sanity, for instance. There are theoretically an infinite number of aspects, so to make sure to ask your game master which aspects will be used before the game. Skills. Skills are free-form and entirely made up by the player. Skills may be as broad to cover field or expertise, but should never be usable outside a specific area. Skills like close combat is broad as it should get, but you can build on top of it with increasingly specific skills like sword fighting, followed by stabbing if you wish. Qualities. Qualities are very broad skills. Jobs are stereotypes like charismatic, strong, soldier, diplomat, ranger, or smart, for instance. You can only have a single quality. Task resolution. When rolling for task resolution, count how many skills and qualities you have which reasonably help doing a task at hand, and add 1. That is the number of dice you roll. After rolling, pick 1 dice, which becomes your result, and add 1 for every natural 6 remaining. Interactions which are not actively resisted, like scenery, or environment, use the success column on the task resolution chart. Rolling a critical failure means that you fail and a single bad thing happens. A partial success means you succeed, but not completely, or something bad happens despite your success. A critical success means that you succeed and a single good thing happens. 1 additional good thing happens per point the roll exceeds 6. Character NPC related interactions are all considered a form of combat. To be social, be it a social combat, physical combat, or magic combat, you roll 1d6 plus the number of dice equal to your skills and quality, which will help you in relevant situation. The opponent subtracts its defense from that aspect from your degree of success, and the rest is lost in hit points from that aspect. When a character reaches 0 or less the hit points in the aspect, he loses that match. You got information, you got your discount, or your opponent drops unconscious. Remember to deduct opponent's defense before resolving hit point loss. So this is kind of the task resolution chart. I kind of like the way this system works, where you roll a dice and it can be like, yes, something good happens, and something even crazier happens. You kick in the door, and on the other side, there's a bad guy. And when you kick in the door, it's successful, and that door flips open and hits the opponent and knocks a weapon out of his hand. That would be an example of like, yes, and. An example of no and would be you jump over the fence and you trip and you fall in a pile of shit. Pretty kind of, it's very simple, very basic. It allows for us to kind of really just roll a simple dice. You add a skill, you add some dice, and it just smooth and easy. If a task is hard but manageable without specialist knowledge, the game master may impose a penalty to the roll. The penalty is subtracted from the final result of the roll. This is called a point penalty. Like, let's say you go and you're trying to negotiate or intimidate a character like Horus Lupercal, and you're like, I'm gonna intimidate this bitch. I'm like, yeah, you can definitely try, but I'm adding -5. Like, you're gonna need to roll high if you're gonna want to pull off this crazy feat. Advanced tasks are tasks which require specialist knowledge. When performing an advanced task, roll 1 dice fewer than normal. This may reduce the dice to 0, making the task impossible. Yeah, for example, that Horus Lupercal intimidation, I might say this is an advanced, and you're just not allowed to do it. You know, you just can't do that. Easy tasks are never rolled for. If a task is easy enough to confer a bonus to a roll, just assume it was a success. So yeah, there are lots of examples of like, you're running through a field. I don't need to make you roll for that. But let's say you're running through a volcanic field and you're jumping over lava pits. Now let's maybe take some skill tests to see what's going on. We'll move on to character progression. Every succession of the Game Master may choose to give all players 1 to 4 points of experience. For 2 points of experience, a player may buy a new skill relevant to what happened in the session. 1 extra point costs 3 experience points, and 1 extra defense costs 4 experience points. Special powers. Special powers which are abilities such as casting spells, psionics, or special powers granted by mutations, for instance, are performed like any other task resolution, except that they are always considered advanced tasks. You may have specific permission from the Game Master to pick any magical or psionics related skill, since not all settings treat things equally. When using a power, the Game Master decides the outcome as per normal task resolution. Attack powers deal damage as normal combat, but may be additional effects at the Game Master's discretion. During the effects, it is determined by a degree of success as a task resolution. Some Game Masters may rule that you only have or can only use a power if you have a skill of the same name. For instance, you must have the Fireball skill to cast Fireball spell. Others may perform more freedom and allow skills like psionics to mean anything from telekinesis to mind reading to other psionics-related power. Depending on what kind of special powers your character has and how common they are in the setting, they may also require quality to activate or even quality in themselves. Ask your Game Master which will be used. So that is the very basic overview of the RPG and kind of how it works. So all of you guys have taken some time before this session to think about your characters, who they are, kind of what they are good at. I know some of you have even written down your stats already and your qualities and all that. Maybe let's start with Dark Melon. And did you write up anything that you want to share? Or if you don't want to share specifically that, just give us like your teaser of your character.
Yes, I did. So my character's name is Omega 8. He is a tech priest from the Forge world of Stygius 8, which is in the main lore, and is known for being borderline heretical, but still being, just loyalist enough to make sense.
I really like that choice. I find 40k can often be very restrictive when doing RPGs, but you got a good choice there of a Forge world that's a little borderline heretical.
Yes, borderline heretical, but it gets a bit worse because he's been kicked out.
Oof.
So he has been kicked off. I will not disclose why he's been kicked off just yet. I want to save that for later. But yeah, so my quality is that he is a biologist because he likes to study xenos. His whole point of existence is just to study xenos and figure out what's going on, how do they work, how can I use this to benefit humanity, even if the others don't really understand. He has the standard 5 hit points and 1 defense I just wrote that down because I didn't know what the aspects were. Yeah.
At the end of this, once I kind of hear your characters, we won't figure it out because none of these skills, we won't be rolling anything today. But once I kind of get a vibe of your characters, I'll write out like some different aspects that you guys can all choose from and all that and make it so we're all smooth. I know, Dark Melon, you kind of were attached to another character. Is that correct?
There was an attempt at a character, yes. This was the gene sealer concept. The concept was I was going to have a gene sealer that had survived a Tyranid invasion because in the gene sealer codex it is described how some of the 4th generation actually become disenchanted from the hive mind. But they don't make it because by that time it's too late. But yeah, like the idea was he was going to have somehow survive. He was going to be like going through this mental crisis of what's happened. and just having like a bit of a time. But
Yeah.
instead, I am very happy to be a tech priest.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. We definitely, I had to say no to some character choices. Like, that would be a fun character for a different RPG, but this one, I don't think my squat captain is going to let no gene stealers on his ship, Not willingly anyways. Let's jump to the next character. Maybe let's go to Jax.
So my character is actually Elf. He's an Eldar. And I actually do have a backstory that I want to share with you guys, if that's okay. All right. Echo, once a youth of Iyanden, his life was filled with misery. His mother and father were fully consumed, soul stone and all, by the Tyranid scourge that invaded Iyanden. After the Tyranid invasion of Iyanden, Echo was thrust along the path of the warrior, more specifically, the Dire Avenger path. He was good-natured, kind, and good with a sword. He eventually came to the ideology that all sentient beings deserve the right to live. He was good, he was exceptional with a blade and pistol, and was clever, yet he was horrendous with any actual gun. That's why he's a Dire Avenger. As he was but a child, his fear of Tyranids and the resulting Shadow of the Warp become unbearable for him, resulting in him shunning his psychic powers, always freezing in fear as well when he felt the presence of the Tyranid scourge. All was well for Echo, until he learned the truth about his father. Dun dun dun.
Who is it,
Horrified
Daddy, and
at
what
the
does he
truth.
do?
Actually, I'm gonna keep that a secret. Only you know that the answer to that, Mark.
Good.
Yes. He was horrified by the truth of his father, and as a result became disillusioned by the way of the warrior. He gave up the way of the Dire Avenger, hating himself. And he had always dreamed of exploring the stars, so he set off with the Corsair band and started to explore the stars, but it was not meant to be. The first ever mission the Corsair ship came into contact with was the Tyranid invasion of a Mechanicus planet. The captain was too cocky, and quickly the ship was shot down and crashed onto the planet. Hormigons descended onto the ship, and while the crew put up a good fight, they all fell eventually to the Scourge. He was found, though, because he was stuck under some rubble during the crash, and he just barely snapped out of it when the Tyranids got close, but he lost an eye in the process. Echo was cornered, but at the last minute was saved by a tech priest. Echo quickly dropped on his knees after the battle and swore a debt of gratitude to the priest, also known as Omega 8.
Ooh, Dark Melon's character, eh?
Yeah. The priest seemed different from his kind and accepted him instead of just shooting him on the spot. He even fixed up Echo with a new mechanical eye, though it was quite crappy. For many years, Echo was happy, even looking up to the tech priest as if he was his new, real father. Always fearful of his real father. Echo was always wary of his own father, and other Drukhari, for that matter. Always believing the worst of them. Echo was charismatic and quite good with other people and xenos. If he couldn't smooth talk his way out of a fight, he would always have his trusted blade and pistol, which was a gift from the tech priest. One day, Echo was led by the tech priest to a space station, where a League of Votann company was setting out on an adventure. The tech priest, for some reason, was interested in this and wished to come along. Echo didn't understand the reason, but would follow the tech priest anywhere.
Nice. So we got a tech priest that's working alongside an Eldar. Sounds like this tech priest might be observing him more so than just helping out of the goodness of his heart. What can I learn from this filthy Xenos?
Yeah, well, whereas the Eldar looks at him as a father figure.
Interesting. Cool. No, I like it. I like
Grim,
when
darkish.
People attach their characters to each other. That'll be interesting dynamic. Let's jump over to the next player, Velt. What are your character thoughts, and what are you kind of feeling like?
I'm gonna be a squat. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'm gonna be a combat engineer. My name is Thurman Iron Fist. As the engineer, I enjoy creating and building new things. He comes from notes here. He comes from a kinhold called Kraken Dune. It is somewhere in the central rim where all the other guys are. I don't have a specific area laid out yet. Maybe you can flush that out later. He's kind of haunted. He had a group of his own people that he was the engineer for, and they all died out in a tragic mining accident. So he's kind of aloof now. He doesn't try to kind of connect with anybody, but he still loves his craft. And he likes to take items from new people that he meets as payment instead of taking payment from them. So he may fix your arm brace, but he may also take an emblem from it that powers it or something like that. Just
a little kleptomaniac kind of.
That's his way of getting around. And exactly. But the thing is, he isn't doing it to piss anybody off. He's just doing it as I like this, it's mine type thing.
It's like he's making his own
isn't very
deals.
Emotionally there.
He's making his own deals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, emotionally he isn't really there. He's good at his job and he knows what he's expected from him, but he's, like I said, aloof. He kind of does his own thing at his own time. Like, maybe you send your weapon to be repaired, and instead of repairing the weapon, he makes the grip better.
Okay.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. I think you and some Jokero monkeys would get along. I think we have to incorporate that, where you're just like building weird tech together that no one asked for.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I'm not going to be very combat oriented, but I will be. If you need something, I will be accessible for that. He will be equipped with just like a plasma pistol and just like not a powered hammer, but like a work hammer.
Cool. I like it. Very cool. And any other details you want to share about him, or?
I haven't done any of the stats or anything for it yet because I'm still trying to decide on his like attributes and stuff like that. It's kind of hard because he isn't going to be very combat oriented, but I still have to add something in there for that.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to decide on what tech path. As an engineer, there's so many different areas that I can go down, so I have to major in one of them. So right now, that's kind of the deciding factor I'm still kind of working on.
Cool. I like it. Yeah, no, that gives us some good ideas to kind of go through and look forward to and work out stat-wise line. Let's jump to our final player, Icarus. You want to tell us about what you kind of came up with?
Yeah, I have a little backstory I've been thinking about. He's been sent on an exploration mission by the Imperium to an unknown planet, and his whole team dies, and he kind of puts himself in sort of a deep sleep, just drugs himself, and just wants to die, and then gets found by the Votann.
Sorry, did you say which race you were?
He's Krieg.
Oh, he's a Kriegsman. Okay.
He's a Krieg. He's a Kriegsman. He's a psychic. He's got some grand visions about stars and oceans of the galaxy, and doesn't know why. And he's been sent on an exploration mission. His whole team dies. He drugs himself up to hopefully stay alive longer, and then gets found by the Votann.
Cool. I think I'll make great use of your unwavering loyalty and dedication to the cause of the stars and the mystery of it all.
Yep. His name is serial number 2011-2005. He doesn't have an actual name.
Rolls off the tongue.
Exactly.
Cool. Did you come up with any kind of like broad specialties that you want to try to lean into or anything like that? Like, it sounds like you're a warrior, but anything kind of else? Yeah.
He's not really. I'll see what happens. I'll go with the flow.
I like it. Well, we got a odd assortment of crew. We got a tech priest who is aligned. He's got like a pet Eldar. I use that term lovingly, of course. We got a Votann combat engineer type character, and we also got a Kriegsman who somehow found himself aboard, trying to unravel the mysteries of the stars. So I think we're good to kind of, at this point, start role-playing together. I got an intro scene here that I'm going to read, and one by one, you guys get called into the office of the captain on this ship of the Ironfather's Resolve. So the first person that will get called in is Dark Melon, but I'll read this scene here. The newly recruited crewman steps into the quarters of Captain Brock Stonevein, leader of the Ironfather's Resolve. The room excludes an aura of age and power, carved from cold, dense metal walls that shimmer with engraved glyphs, glowing faintly in hues of amber and cobalt. The space is compact yet carefully arranged, filled with ancient tools, relic from distant mining expeditions, and weapon crafted with painstaking precision. Tapestries hang from the low ceiling, each depicting scenes of vast past glories in rich, earthen tones. At the end sits Captain Stonevein, a stout figure, layered in battle armor, his thick gray beard braided with metal clasps and runic charms. His eyes are sharp and glacial steel, set deep under the heavy brow, and speaks of wisdom, experience, and unwavering resolve. With an axe resting by his side and an aura of unyielding command, Brock nods to the new crewman, his voice in a low rumble, thick with the weight of tradition and command. "You'll find no easy path aboard my ship," he says, his gaze unwavering. "But stand fast and you'll carve a name for yourself amongst the stars. I have some questions. Tell me about yourself. Who are you and where did you come from?"
Greetings. I am Omega 8 from the planet of Stygius 8. I come here seeking knowledge of xenos artifacts and xenos biology to further my studies.
Studying Xenos, I hope you don't study too much of what I'm up to. I got many secrets that I do not want you to know. But I think I can make use of you. I found that the best way to defeat an enemy opponent is to first understand them. Welcome to my crew. What drove you to leave the comforts of your old life and seek the birth of Ironfather's Resolve?
Omega 8 will shift rather uncomfortably at this. He will sort of look around the room a bit more and then will answer, "There were complications between me and my fellow adepts. They are blind. They do not understand the concepts that I do."
You know, I also come from my own people, and I think that they can be stubborn at times and unwavering, often not times willing to push the envelope. I think together we're going to make a fine team. Welcome aboard, crewmen. We will call upon you shortly and gather the remaining crew.
My thanks. And I will leave the room.
The next person enters the room, and that can be Icarus's character. Welcome, welcome. Tell me about yourself. Why are you here? Why have you tried to join my ship?
Because otherwise I would have died on the planet if you had not rescued me and be such kind towards one of my people.
Loyalty drives you.
Indeed. I have served very, many years serving the Emperor himself.
While I'm not necessarily a worshipper of the Emperor, I do think that there are some good things that have come from him. I think together we will carve a path through this galaxy. When faced with danger, do you stand your ground and fight? Or do you find
Very
a path
much.
others don't see?
I stand and fight. If my dying will help the better of the squad, then I will very happily lay down my life.
I think we will stand shoulder to hip in battle many times. Welcome aboard, my crew.
Thank you.
So your character leaves the room, and the next one, Jax's character, comes in. An Eldar on my ship? I never thought I'd see the day. Who are you and why have you come?
You see me really quickly look around the room, just noticing the axe, and then I look at you, I smile, and I give a polite bow. I am Echo the Eldar. I am, for reasons, joining your crew because of my compatriot, Omega 8. It is a pleasant honor to meet you.
I have talked to Omega 8. I think he will be a most valuable member. Although I warn you about him, there might be something. He might be looking at you more carefully than you realize. Let's put it that way.
Nonsense. He and I have traveled for many years. He has saved my life more times than you count, and I am in somewhat of a debt to him.
Well, in that case, I meant no ill will. I I myself have owed some life debts to some people. Thankfully, they are no longer with us, and my debt was paid and free. I admire that kind of bond between people.
It is my duty to protect him, no matter what.
My only question to you is, yes, you are loyal to Omega 8, but will you be loyal to me above all else?
I do not know you, to be frank. I know Omega 8. He is somewhat of my only family left. I will be loyal to you as long as he is loyal to you. I will fight by your side no matter what, as long as he is by your side. But if anything would come of him, if any danger would befall him, I will rush to his protection first. He is my first and foremost duty. But you and your crew will have my sword no matter what.
Spoken like an Eldar. Many words to say, I don't fully trust you, but that's fine. I think together we will build a trust. I have worked with some Eldar before, and while I find it kind of pompous at times, we have done many good things, your race and mine. I think we will do many good things together as well. Thank you for coming, and welcome aboard the Ironfather's Resolve.
Thank you for your time and patience. And I leave. I give one more bow, and then I leave the room.
I also extend a short bow as a sign of respect back. And the final person enters the room, Velt's character. Greetings, welcome to my chamber. Why have you come to my ship?
Sort of kin, of course. It's been a long time since I've been aboard a ship. The last time did not go so well.
Well, I have read your service records before, and it's unfortunate that your previous kin met such an ill-fated fate. I promise you, my brother in Votann, we will not meet that same fate together.
Well, I warned them about the shield generators being too low, and I did not get to them yet. They did not listen. No. What do I do? I was working on their weapons, making them better, doing what I do, and they decided to go dig, and
they dug too greedily, found something perhaps they should not have found.
I have no idea. I was asleep aboard the ship.
Well, I am sorry for your loss, brother. We will not have the same fate meet us. Are
your weapon there? Your axe. Is it by chance generate of the energy? Does it have the what do they call that stupid shit?
Power weapons?
Yes. Yeah. Does it in fact have a power generator attached to it?
Yes, it does. This axe has been with me in many battles, and before me it was with my daddy and his daddy before him. This axe has cleaved many orcs, Eldar, and even Tyranids, and all due to its uniquely wrought plasma power field generation system. I hear it's one of a kind, but I'm not much of an engineer myself.
I slightly pass a small battery that's yellow powered. Maybe add that to the power generator whenever you're going to use it. It may amp it up a little bit.
Well, thank you for the gift. In return, I will give you this as a show of respect. And I'll reach into my pocket and I'll pull out a very specialized type of iron ingot. It looks iron, but it also has specks of other elements in it, alloys and stuff. And I'll hand you just this brick. With this, maybe one day, you'll be able to make a fine axe for yourself. This metal is the same metal used to make my axe.
No need. Look at your wall. You'll see a digging machine missing. I already took what I want.
Well, sticky fingers on my ship might get you into trouble, but a favor for a favor. Thank you for letting me know you took something. I looked to what you kind of took and just around the room to take stock of everything else, to make sure everything else is there. Are you ready to face the void with me?
Always, brother. But as I say, I must have drink and sleep first.
Yes, yes. Well, we have not quite managed to arrange all our supplies yet. We will be leaving shortly, though. You have plenty of time to drink, be meager, and meet the other members of your crew.
Ooh, let's see what the goodies I can find today.
So he dismisses you, and everyone kind of returns to their corridors, and you spend a night, a day, or whatever. You eventually get a call from the captain to assemble before him in one of the data centers, the command barge of it. Captain Brock Stonevein stands before his assembled crew, his rugged face etched with purpose as he begins his speech. He looks around and sees a Kriegsman, an Eldar, a fellow Votann, and a tech priest. Listen well, for this is no common hunt we are on. We seek the Ghost Forge, the stuff of myth and ancient heart of the Votann's might. Long before our ancestors walked these halls, the forge was said to be the crown jewel of our kind, a place where steel met spirit, where secrets of technology and power were cast into form. But the forge was lost to us, buried somewhere in the stars, sealed in the darkness of ages turned and abandoned. Or so we thought. Yet we found something, a fragment, a map, hidden in the veins of an asteroid that by the grace of the ancients found its way to us. It's little more than a whisper of coordinates, but it's enough to set our course. Aye, what lies there could change our fortunes and put the League at the forefront of the galaxy once more. But the Ghost Forge is not undefended. It lies within an asteroid belt thick with the wreckage and traps, haunted by fragments of warships and dead worlds. And worse, the Forge itself is not uninhabited. If the tales hold any truth, the Forge may have drawn the attention of xenos we've long believed were nightmares. Metal demons that shun death itself. We may even be forced to deal with these creatures directly. So steel your hearts, for the journey will be treacherous, and many will stand against us. But remember this, we can walk in the footsteps of legends. We are Votann, bound to the Forge, and no force in this galaxy can deny us what we've set our sights on. Stand with me, brothers and other xenos. We shall make history. At this point, he kind of opens up the floor to you guys for any questions or comments.
These metal demons, do we have more information on these?
I have heard rumors that they have been encountered by our kind before, but they are most recent and often not verified reports. I unfortunately do not know what the stars and the Ghost Forge fully hold for us. I would be open to any ideas, though. Maybe you have more experience, you and your kind, with metal demons that shun death.
Omega 8 will sort of twitch around, almost as if slightly agitated, as if remembering a memory that perhaps wasn't too fond. We have encountered a xenos race that we have called the Necron. We believe I have a personal grudge against one of their kind. Personally, however, I believe that these may be the demons inhabiting this world.
You've faced their kind before. Well, let that fuel the forge of your soul, and let that drive you forward into the Ghost Forge with us.
Omega 8 will nod his head and will open up the floor.
I kind of step up. Like, I'm looking like a little, like, grim, and I look at Dark Melon for a bit, or Omega 8, and I look back at you, and I just bow again, and I just say, well, if these are the Necrons, it is best advisable we keep away from them. My people have had a conflicted and long history with the Necron. And if what I heard was true from my elders when I was a child, we best should stay away from any conflict with these beings.
I think that is wise. Conflict is not always profitable. And, after all, that's why we are here, to profit and succeed. Maybe at some point we'll get together and you can regale me with stories of your ancestors to better prepare myself for the upcoming challenge.
Well, the one thing you should probably know is that if these are the Necron, they hold worse things than just their ability to shun death. Kind of just like, I bow again, and I kind of just like shuffle off the stage, like right next to Mega 8.
Any other questions from my newly assembled crew?
When is supper?
I think me and you are going to get along well, Kriegsman. Tonight for the dinner we have the most rare grok sausage that we could find, spiced to perfection, and you have never tried ale the such this ship can make. It has a slightly oily flavor to it, but that's what I kind of enjoy.
It will be different than the usual corpse starch I'm used to, but I will try. I back off from the stage again.
Brother, is it normal to have such misfitted classmates among us?
What a valid question. No, it is not normal, but we are not on a normal mission. I have selected you four specifically out of hundreds, because I feel like this unique team will bring something valuable to every encounter that we come across, whether it's the Xenos biologist's knowledge of Xenos and how perhaps to heal us if we get hurt, or the Eldar's knowledge of our ancient enemy, or whether it's just you and I and our bond of kinship that will drive us and others forward. Maybe we can be an example on how others can interact with us. Does it worry you that we have such a varied crew?
I approach you a little closely, and I speak in our own tongue. How much do you value your crewmates?
Well, just between me and you, you're the only one I can trust on this ship.
They have items of great fascination that could help our ship perform to better circumstances.
Yes. Okay. We will discuss this further. It looks like the Eldar steps forward.
I just kind of like cock my head and my eyes narrow, and I'm just like, what do you seem to be conversing about?
We are just reciting the ancient oaths of our ancestors. Do not be concerned with our tongue. It is good to speak it.
Apologies. I have seemed misunderstood.
Yes.
And I just kind of
Yes.
my eyes are still like narrowed, and I just like look around still.
A common
And I
saying
just, like-
amongst our kind is Baruk Kazaa. We say this as a battle cry. Perhaps you guys will learn some of the Dwarven tongue yourself over time.
It would be an honor. And I kind of just like bow again and like walk over to him, Omega 8 again.
So with this, we have all introduced ourselves. We all know our task. We have another week at this starport to get resources available and to figure things out. But for now, I think we all take some time to ourselves and maybe spend some time with each other. Get to know each other on a different type of level. Because at the end of the day, we might need each other.
Who trusts a knife ear?
We will have no dissent on our ship. We will make this.
I heard that.
And with that, the scene kind of ends, and I think session 0 kind of comes to a close. The crew has been assembled, and characters have been introduced, and some bonds have even been made. Where will this story take us? Dun dun dun. Yeah, boys, that was exciting. How do you feel about session 0? I think that's a good starting point.
I actually really like that.
I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was better than expected, in my opinion.
Very happy.
Cool. Yeah, so over there's a lot of behind the scenes detail that we can all work out individually now, but the listeners don't need to hear us working out traits and skills and war gear and all that.
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
exactly.
So I think we'll say goodbye, and we can just go around the circle, starting with Dark Melon. Thanks for joining us. Looking forward to doing more of this with you.
All right. Thank you. See you all guys later, and hopefully we all make it through this in one piece.
Not likely, but it's going to be fun either way. Icarus. Nice to have a Kriegsman. And I love the German accent, by the way. I really appreciate
Yes.
it to it. Heck
Actually,
yes.
do you know where it's from? It's in Darktide. It's one of the voice patterns in Darktide is for the Psyker is a German, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna base it off of that.
You have to. You would be doing it wrong if you didn't. So 10 out of 10, really.
Or
good
I'll
voice.
slip in the Liebling every now and again.
Very nice. And Jax, thank you for joining.
You're welcome.
It's going to be interesting to see how the Eldar relates to me and Veltroid always talking in Dwarven about you, but
Yeah. Well, it's best not to be short-sighted.
fuck.
That was,
Yeah, you like my standing shoulder to hip metaphor there?
yep. I feel like we're gonna have a lot of jokes back and forth between us.
I don't think that you guys and Jax are gonna see eye to eye.
No.
Write that down.
There's gonna be so many short jokes.
Oh, man. I'm okay with that. It's a compliment, actually, to call a dwarf short, so thank you.
Uh-huh.
And our
You are
other,
very much welcome.
and our other dwarf player, thank you for joining us. Closing thoughts.
No, this is going to be great. I'm just glad to be here, and thank you, everybody.
Cool. Well, thank you all to the guests for listening. I have a campaign written out and thought out, and I'm kind of picturing this to be 5 episodes long. But, depending on how much people derail it and go crazy, who knows where this adventure is really going to take us. I think it's going to the Ghost Forge, but maybe it's going to the Halls of Terra and to kill the Emperor. I don't know.
That's sounding pretty heretical, man. Like, you might want to watch out,
Don't put ideas in our heads.
Nah, we could take the custodians.
I suppose the Emperor's a Xenos when you think about it.
He's a Xenos to me. All right, and that is the end of Session 0. We will see you all on the next episode of Sword and Steel. Adios.